and welcome back to the International Women's Day celebration here on the Now Morning Show. Anchor Will here, joined by 7-time Addy Award winner. I'm saying it first and foremost. Filmmaker Shari Petti joins Tasha and I on set as she tells us her story. Shari, welcome back.
Hi. Morning.
Always good to have you
Nice.
because, wow, 7 Addy Awards in categories including Best of Show or Overall,
Yes,
which I'm
yes,
sure
yes.
is a very coveted title.
It is.
And then others including editing and quite a few.
Right,
Tell me a
right,
little bit, first of all, for context, the significance of winning Addy Awards altogether as a filmmaker.
Well, the Addies is like one of the highest, awards you could get for advertising in Trinidad.
Right.
So people who not just do film, but also like print work, radio, podcasts, etc. They could also win Addies. So for me, I'm a creative director for my company Scene, and for that ad, I was the main one in terms of orchestrating the creative aspects and moving parts of it. And I worked very closely with like an editor, and we won like overall best of show, best film, video, sound, best editing, best cinematography, Dylan. Presnell, he got best cinematography, and editing, Ronaldo, Matamoro, we worked together on that as well. And then there were 2 in the gold category, and then one for editing and for First Citizens ad that we did too, which
Wow.
Captain Plex, he edited that.
I remember the visuals of Moko Jumbies crossing the street going viral, and I said,
Yeah.
yep, Shari's doing it again. And you did. That was incredible.
I was like, oh gosh, I see it before it's done. But I'm glad it came out because I was like, okay, I guess it's impactful enough for someone to, capture it before it's even done.
And to
So I
win 7
appreciate
Addy
that.
Awards. Price just went up. But in that case, it means that all of the hard work, the years in school, because we know that
Yeah.
you would have done the Fulbright Scholarship
Yes,
as well
yes,
to make
yes.
sure that you have that sound foundation.
Most
The ventures that haven't necessarily been done before. So the software documentary, the shorts, the ads, culmination of work, it's a lot to bear.
Yes, it
But
is.
you are definitely wearing it all well. So as we're celebrating International Women's Day, what would you say is your formula, Shari? What would you say is your go-to
My formula.
code of conduct, however you want to put it?
I think I'm a very obsessive person when it comes to anything that I love. So I feel like when I've had like different creative endeavors at different points in my life. So at first I was an actor when I was much younger in like primary school, and then I joined a drama company in high school and did Trinidad Theatre Workshop, different courses as well. But I ended up liking the behind the scenes aspect of things. But just as obsessive as I was about acting, when I got into film, it's like, oh, I want to see as much as I can do with this thing. And I kind of like moved around in different departments and got a taste of everything to the point where I decided, okay, these are the set of things I want to do the most. And for me, cinematography is definitely one of them. And whenever I do like something, I like obsessively research it and watch every YouTube video that could exist and see where I could, get an advanced degree or a course here and there, whatever. And for me, editing came because I wasn't really, at a point in time, I wasn't finding people to edit the way that I wanted to. So, that's how I kind of forced myself to edit in the early years.
Get it done.
And so I still edit a lot of my very personal projects, but I work with like editors who I trust to, execute other things as well. And in terms of directing, I mean, I like directing as well. I like, coming up with an idea and seeing it, communicating that with other people and seeing everybody just pitch in their different 2 cents and, creatively build a whole, machine of a film or whatever we're creating, basically. It's fun for me.
Yeah,
It's fun, and
I feel the energy. I'm here like, okay, let me try something almost. Very inspired, very motivated. But what I'm hearing loud and clear
Yes.
is that there's a definitive pairing of a strong foundation of education and knowledge before you actually get into it, in
Yeah.
addition to the experience itself.
Exactly.
So you kind of try it to see if you
and
like
for me,
it.
that knowledge was necessary because I know how easy it is for. Like, that's how I am naturally. Like, I feel I always liked education. Even like in preschool, I was, one of the first to finish all my books and got into primary school books. And I feel like I always like loved learning. But even just as being a woman, I felt like it was extra necessary because I don't want anybody to ever doubt me. And it's so easy to be doubted in a field where, there's so many men around. So for me, it was like, I just want to make sure at the end of the day, like, I know as much as possible as I need to know and keep learning and growing, so that when I do go out there, I'm not like fumbling. And there's some other woman or girl that could watch me and be like, you know what, I want to be as attentive with whatever I'm doing, and I'm still learning and growing and being inspired by other women too.
Well, definitely. I mean, you're a multi-hyphen creative. It's absolutely amazing to have you with us in this conversation. But you just said something about going out there, and your films have been and are still out there. How does it feel to see your work on an international stage?
It's so, sometimes it's so crazy, honestly. Like, for me, like, when I first had Sophia and that got into the Pan-African Film Festival, that was actually the night before I submitted to that festival. I was like, maybe I should submit in 5 years when I have like, more under my belt and something I've worked, because it's an Academy Award qualifying festival. If you get into there and you win there, then you go on to other things. But then I was like, let me just submit it, and it got in. And from there, I kind of like put it in my mind that, even if I think I'm not good enough, you never know what somebody else might be seeing in the work that you're doing. So, and now I'm just, since then, I kind of just put things out there and, being able to share my culture with other people, or, whenever I show it and people are like, yo, like, this is so refreshing. I never saw this aspect of an island before, this aspect of a culture, this aspect of a carnival, which is what I got a lot in London when I showed Fantastic Friday. There they were like, what, they felt so refreshed to hear a different accent and to see, the diaspora like that. So, it's really, it's inspiring when people are even receiving the work well, I would say.
I mean, you're definitely inspiring us this morning, that's for sure. I mean, your work inspires us every single day. And having this conversation with you this morning, something you just briefly touched on was, in an industry where there are a lot of men, let's be real about it. Did you experience any challenges on your way? Well, I'll say on your way up, because you're still, of course, ascending every single day.
I mean, yes, there are challenges, I think, and there are things that I remember where people would like, say something and it kind of discouraged me, and it's like, But for me, I'm kind of also very delusional, and my parents. I went when I did my BA at UE, I did that without like financial support, from my family, and because it was something that I know I genuinely wanted to do, and I could obviously do something else and get as much support, and they still support me now, but I know. At the end of the day, nothing that somebody else tells me is going to make me not do it, because I have to live with my decisions. So, I have experienced those things, but I kind of, try to not muddle in it too much, because then that's me putting focus on something that I'm not going to get anything out of. I prefer to be like, okay, well, I'm going to take this energy and make something, and not show you, but you're going to see.
Yes.
Not show you, but you're going to see, and the company is seen. We know you really want to show them. And we're glad that you did, We're really glad that you did. I think that when we talk about ourselves as women in public spaces, especially, literally you putting your business out there with your films, I think it's incredible and it's inspiring, motivating, and necessary to hear you say you have that little voice in the back of your head that's telling you that you can't, but you tell it. That's really important, Shari, and I hope that you continue to see how you inspire people. But we also hope to see more work from you. So what's next on the timeline?
Well, there's a lot on the timeline. The one I would talk about is I have 4 new episodes of Mass Prep. So I showed 4 last year in November. So 4 more coming soon. I will let you all know about the screening dates. I still have to like pin down exactly when. And then I'm writing a lot too. So you'll be seeing a lot more narrative work coming from me, which I'm very excited about, because even though narrative work takes a lot longer to make because it's more expensive, you need actors and props and all these moving parts, and documentary is much faster to make. I'm still like very hopeful and excited to bring these stories to life. So looking forward to sharing.
We're excited to see it, that's for sure. Now, you shared with us your journey from a child acting, just basically doing everything in the creative industry. Do you have a message for those who may be interested but don't know where to start, especially as you mentioned, of course, going in and doing your BA without that necessary support? Because it's hard to just jump out and say, this is what I want to do, especially when there's a little bit of fight down, because it's
and then you're not sure what the job market is after.
Exactly. So you have any messages for those who are want to be inspired?
I would say, if you really do want to do something and you're sure, this is the thing that there's no plan B at the end of the day. For me, when I think about what I want to do, like, I think about it in very extreme ways. As I said, I'm very, just a little obsessive. I'm like, there's no plan B, so this is the option. And even if it's going to be hard for a couple of months or a couple of years or whatever, I know at the end of the day, this is the goal. And whatever journeys or, segues I need to take to get there, I know at the end of the day, that's exactly what I need to do. So make sure whatever you are engaging in on a daily basis is towards that, whether it is you're watching videos, whether it is you're taking a course, whether it is you're talking to mentors or reaching out to people on Instagram and asking how they could get on set, or or whatever your field is. Just make sure that you're seeking out the opportunities, because even when I first started acting, I was like, how do I get into commercials? I don't know where. And then I joined a bunch of Facebook groups with auditions, and I went to every little casting call and talk to people, hang out with people. Eventually, I was getting more and more of those opportunities. And with film, I wanted to be in more films, and even though when I started making films, I didn't put myself in films, I still haven't. I ended up liking the behind the scenes a little more, but even within that, like, I still, throughout my career, would always reach out, would always, show up, even if it's for free sometimes, show up on set, keep researching, keep obsessively doing whatever you want to do, because you will only get better if you, actively practice it, like literally daily.
Shari, you talked about segues, and I have to ask, did it happen? Were there moments when you deviated from the plan, so to speak, whether willingly, intentionally, like an alternative route, or something distracted you?
There was 2 months that I worked at Clicker Credit Union right after I left Bishop's. And those 2 months, there's 2 months where I worked at the institution. And I actually, while I enjoyed there, in terms of the people that I met there, it was also not a creative field, and it was very depressing for me to be, doing something that I actually didn't really want to do. So I was like, you know what, I need to, leave, and, that's when I started just doing film completely, and I haven't stopped since. It's been like 9 years. So thankfully, I haven't had to make any major segues, but that was a segue for me, because even before that, I was about to do geography at university, and then I was like, why am I doing this? I need to, focus and figure out what I want to do. So I took like a year off, and then that's when I started, getting more into film and, stayed in that realm. So, for me, I think that's my biggest segue so far. Any other segues is me probably, going to school, but that's still, towards my goal. Like, I might have to not work for a little while, but, I'm doing this thing that is going to help me get even better at what I'm doing, basically.
I asked that because, honestly, your story is incredible. Like, you sound as if there was always this sense of determination, this sense of delusion that worked for you. But you sound so focused that it might seem unattainable. A lot of people, I would say a lot of us, be it women, be it young persons,
and even,
find that hard. No.
Yeah, and even when I was younger, it did feel unattainable, because, I grew up in Mova, and none of my family members really was in, like, creative fields, like, professionally. Like, my dad is incredible in terms of, like, he knows so many instruments, but didn't necessarily do a creative career. My mom is really great with her hands, and even all my sisters and siblings, but they, not all the time you're always able to actively do certain things that you want to do, but, I'm grateful for my upbringing, and grateful for them even, because they inspire me even to, just keep pushing and, just even stay being creative. Even if you're not being a creative professionally, just being creative on your own, that's just as valid, even if you don't sell your work, basically.
Yeah.
So,
that's such a valid point as well. So that you keep creating, that you stay focused, that the Lulu works for you.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm going to go with today all day.
I like that one.
I do. Give me more credit and you move.
I will.
Okay. And in that case, I feel like the entirety of your story is necessary to be shared. And so, as much as you say you don't put yourself on camera, when is that happening, Shari? When is that happening?
I don't know if I might. I don't know. I think maybe like a cameo. A little part of me, honestly, is a little self-conscious of being too, like, I mean, even though I literally used to act, I'm like, am I that director is so egotistical, they're going to put themselves on their films? That's a little thing in my mind that I have to get over personally, because so many people, like Issa Rae put her stuff in her work, Michaela Coel, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, all people who I'm inspired by. So, maybe I might get back into acting if I'm not feeling too shy.
We hope so. We look forward to seeing you. Now, one of the things that you've also mentioned this morning is the fact that, okay, so you started off in acting. We've now decided that you're going back into acting, but you made that transition to going behind the scenes. And this is something that we tend to see a trend of for many performers. What in particular drew you to preferring behind the scenes?
Honestly, I just really, really, really loved how, like, insane the collaborative effort was. I just really, really enjoyed going to set and seeing people just hustling, talking on the phones and and every day you have a whole new scene of something that you didn't even have, right before you started the day. And I think when you're on set, there's an adrenaline that I can't even explain. Like, sometimes I would reach home, and after being on set for 12, 13, sometimes 16 hours, I'm not even sleeping, because I'm just wide awake from all the excitement, if I'm being honest, and have to try to force myself with tea or, some kind of sleeping pill so I could actually have enough energy for the next day. So I think, naturally it was just something that I was excited about. And, as I said, once I'm excited about something, whether it's a person or a thing, I'm literally, this is my attention, basically.
It's wonderful to see that you followed your dreams, and it's going to inspire a lot of people, aside from us here this morning on Now. Tell us something. I mean, you mentioned you have things in the works. We know we're familiar with all the works you've done thus far. What would you say is the ultimate project that you want to work on?
The ultimate project that I want to work on? For sure, a TV series, because I actually watch more TV than I watch feature films, and more short films than I even watch feature films. And, I do have my ideas in terms of, I actually kind of know the work that I want to do, at least for the next 10 to 15 years, and have them kind of mapped out. But I know the features that I want to do, but right now I'm focusing more on episodic work. So, and work that, shows us, as a people, just as real and as authentically as possible. So I'm very excited to, start talking and pitching, and hopefully somebody give me some money. Because the work is, the work that is not cheap.
Of course, it's not at all.
Shari, if you have to say it with your chest, because I was just going to ask, with all those endeavors, all I'm hearing is the cash register going up. You said it, feature films are expensive. You said the documentaries are quicker, but
they
there's
still
a
cost
cost.
money,
There's still a cost. So how do you do it? What is your go-to right now, and who do you want to tap into?
Right now, the way that I, support my work, besides working and using the money that I make from working to make more work, recently, for Mass Prep, I have support from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts. So they, are title sponsor on that series, and Punchin, as well as Film TT. So that's how I was able to make the 6 episodes of Mass Prep that I have now. So I'm really grateful for that support, because, for a long time, I would send out, pictures or, Bibles, and nobody would really take me on. And I'm really grateful that those people, jumped on board and supported me. And, I recently, have been developing a relationship with, other corporate entities. And even I recently did a Christmas ad with Digital, and I really enjoy working with them. So definitely, plan to continue a relationship with them. And, hopefully we have some cool stuff coming for you all. Well, not hopefully, we'll definitely have some good stuff coming for you.
That's why that ad was so Giselle, I get it now. Shari, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course,
Looking forward to having you
I
back
had fun
with us
talking
soon.
with you all.
We had so much fun having you here. You definitely have to come back for more conversation.
Yes, most def.
Can't wait, and hopefully we'll be seeing you featuring.
Hey.
Yeah, all right. Shari Petti here with us this morning, speaking about her success behind the scenes, her story as a filmmaker. Stay tuned, we're going to be back after this short break, and your birthdays are up right after this.
Perfection.
On the commemoration of International Women's Day 2024, the theme is Inspire Inclusion. And it's most fitting for me as a Muslim woman in business and media, as I have strived in many respective fields, debunking many perceptions about Muslim women. Let us all use this day to reflect and generate awareness on what we can do from a personal standpoint to inspire inclusion for all women. We can start at home, or workplace, or the gym. But most importantly, the first step must be developing our mindset to do so. Happy International Women's Day.